Princess Leonor is now taking charge of Spain's ceremonial role, this 2026 new age. In November 2023, before Spain's parliament, Princess Leonor of Bourbon swore an oath to uphold the Spanish constitution. It was a short ceremony, governed by law and tradition, but it marked a decisive institutional moment. For the first time, the future monarch formally assumed constitutional responsibility before the state. By 2026, that moment has expanded into something larger. Princess Leonor is no longer only preparing in theory, she is increasingly present in Spain's ceremonial life. What does it actually mean when an heir takes charge of ceremony in a modern constitutional monarchy, and why does it matter far beyond symbolism? By the end of this video, that question will be clearer. Ceremony in a constitutional monarchy is often misunderstood. It is not performance, pageantry for its own sake, or personal display. In Spain, ceremonial duties are legal instruments. They exist to represent continuity of the state, to mark constitutional processes, and to embody national unity without political authority. When Princess Leonor steps into ceremonial roles, she does so not as an individual acting on preference, but as the bearer of an institutional function defined by Spain's 1978 constitution. Article 56 establishes the crown as the symbol of the unity and permanence of the state. Ceremony is the visible language through which that symbolism is expressed. By 2026, Leonor's presence at state ceremonies reflects a gradual, carefully managed transition. This is not sudden delegation, nor abdication by King Felipe VI. It is the deliberate exposure of the heir to the public-facing responsibilities that will one day be hers in full. Understanding this distinction is essential, because in Spain's monarchy, ceremony is governance without politics. And this shift did not begin in 2026, it has a deeper timeline. Princess Leonor was proclaimed Princess of Asturias in 2014, at the age of 8, when her father ascended the throne. From that moment, her role was constitutionally defined, even if her public presence remained limited. For years, her appearances were carefully calibrated: national holidays, awards ceremonies, and commemorations tied to cultural or historical continuity. These early moments were not about exposure, but about familiarity, introducing the public to the future crown while protecting the neutrality of the institution. What changed after her 18th birthday in October 2023 was not her title, but her legal capacity. Swearing the constitutional oath before the Cortes Generales placed her directly within Spain's constitutional framework. From that point forward, any ceremonial role she undertook carried a different institutional weight. By 2026, those early foundations matured into something more visible. Ceremony became not only preparation, but participation. One of the least discussed aspects of royal ceremony is its relationship to accountability. While monarchs do not govern, their ceremonial actions are bounded by law, precedent, and public record. When Princess Leonor presides over or represents the crown at official events, she does so under constitutional oversight. Each appearance reflects coordination with state institutions, military authorities, and civil administrations. Nothing is improvised. This is particularly important in Spain, where the monarchy's legitimacy rests on constitutional alignment after the democratic transition of the late 20th century. Ceremony, here, is reassurance. It signals stability, continuity, and respect for democratic institutions. By allowing Leonor to assume a greater share of these responsibilities by 2026, the monarchy reinforces a message: preparation is not abstract, and leadership is learned through structured responsibility. And that responsibility extends well beyond public appearances. Military training is a cornerstone of Spain's royal preparation, and it directly informs ceremonial authority. As commander-in-chief of the armed forces, the monarch's role is symbolic, but symbol and structure are inseparable. Princess Leonor began her military education in 2023 at the General Military Academy in Zaragoza, following the same pathway as her father. This training continued through the Navy and Air Force, spanning several years. By 2026, her familiarity with military protocol is not theoretical. It is experiential. This matters because many state ceremonies, national holidays, military commemorations, honors, and memorials are deeply connected to the armed forces. When Leonor appears in uniform or participates in military ceremonies, she does so as someone trained within the institution she represents. That alignment reinforces credibility and continuity, not personality. And it reflects a broader European pattern. Across Europe's constitutional monarchies, heirs are introduced to ceremonial leadership gradually. In the Netherlands, Sweden, and Belgium, heirs often represent the crown years before accession, especially once they reach legal adulthood. Spain follows this model, but with particular sensitivity to its modern democratic history. Ceremony must reassure without overshadowing elected authority. Princess Leonor's increasing presence by 2026 aligns Spain with these constitutional norms. It signals readiness without urgency, continuity without disruption. Importantly, this approach avoids personalization. The focus remains on the institution, not the individual. Leonor's role is defined by function, not by narrative. And this distinction becomes especially clear in how ceremonies are selected. Not all ceremonies are equal. Some mark political processes, others honor cultural heritage, and some commemorate collective memory. By 2026, Princess Leonor's ceremonial roles are primarily concentrated in areas tied to education, military tradition, constitutional anniversaries, and national cohesion. These are domains where the crown's symbolic function is strongest and least politically sensitive. This careful allocation reflects institutional caution. It ensures that her visibility supports unity rather than interpretation. Every appearance is contextualized within Spain's constitutional framework. And with each ceremony, familiarity grows, not only for the public, but for Leonor herself. Ceremony is also about rhythm. Monarchies rely on repetition to create stability. Annual events, recurring commemorations, and traditional observances form a predictable civic calendar. As Princess Leonor takes on more responsibility within this rhythm by 2026, she becomes part of that continuity. The public begins to associate certain ceremonies with her presence, just as previous generations did with her predecessors. This familiarity is not personal attachment, it is institutional recognition. It reinforces the idea that the monarchy exists beyond any single reign. And that continuity carries a long historical echo in Spain. Spain's monarchy has experienced rupture, restoration, and reinvention. The modern ceremonial framework was rebuilt after 1975, emphasizing constitutional loyalty and democratic legitimacy. Princess Leonor's ceremonial role is shaped by this legacy. Her training, visibility, and responsibilities are all designed to avoid the ambiguities of the past. By 2026, her participation reflects lessons learned over decades, that ceremony must be transparent, limited, and aligned with public institutions. In this sense, her role is less about tradition alone, and more about adaptation. Education plays a quieter but equally important role in ceremonial readiness. Princess Leonor's academic background, including international studies and language training, informs how she represents Spain abroad and at multinational events. Ceremony today often involves international audiences. State visits, diplomatic commemorations, and cross-border observances require cultural literacy as much as protocol. By 2026, Leonor's preparation allows her to navigate these environments with institutional confidence. Again, the emphasis is not charisma, but competence. And competence, in constitutional monarchy, is a form of respect. It is also worth noting what taking charge does not mean. It does not imply authority over government, nor decision-making power. Instead, it means stewardship of symbolic responsibility. It means ensuring that ceremonies fulfill their purpose, to represent the state, honor its institutions, and mark its collective life. Princess Leonor's growing role by 2026 reflects a division of labor within the crown, not a transfer of power. This distinction preserves constitutional balance, and prepares for eventual succession without disruption. Public response to ceremonial transitions is often subtle. There are no policy outcomes